The movie Heavenly Creatures was based on this true crime story. Pauline Parker was born May 26, 1938 in New Zealand. Juliet Hulme was born October 28, 1938 in England. Hulme immigrated with her parents to New Zealand in 1948. Parker and Hulme met in 1953 at Christchurch Girls High School. They immediately bonded over the fact that they both had medical conditions as children. While Parker had osteomyelitis, Hulme had tuberculosis. The connection between the girls was extremely strong. They spent all of their time together, excluding other relationships. They created a fantasy place called the Fourth World, where they could both live when they were together. They wrote stories and plays and painted pictures of the fantasy world they created. They created names for themselves. Pauline was Gina, and Juliet was Deborah. Juliet's mother reported that Juliet became so consumed with her character Deborah that it was hard to establish contact with her daughter. The primary person, Juliet, disappeared, and the fantasy person, Deborah, took over. The girls were described as arrogant and conceited by those who knew them, and the two thought they were geniuses, believing that they had the special key to this fourth world that they created, which was like heaven. They alone could access this place twice a year, and they believed they would eventually wind up there once they died. Both parents of the girls feared that they were lesbians, which at the time was demonized and frowned upon by society. Nevertheless, they were allowed to keep the friendship, and at some point Juliet was sent to a mental health professional who stated that he believed that it was in fact a gay relationship, but at some point the girls would outgrow it. Juliet's mother had an affair and her parents separated, and her father decided he was going to go to South Africa and take Juliet with him. Pauline and Juliet came up with the idea that they would go to South Africa together, but Pauline's mother was against the idea. And the two decided that the only obstacle in their way from their fantasy life in South Africa was Pauline's mother. In late April 1954, the two girls decided to murder Pauline's mother. On June 22, 1954, they lured Pauline's mother into a park and killed her. Pauline placed half a brick into a stocking and beat her mother to death with it. The girls claimed that the mother had died due to a fall, but the police discovered in Pauline's diary that evening the plans to murder. Pauline stated in her diary that the murder of her mother felt like the night before Christmas and described it as a happy event. Here are some of the entries. Both girls confessed, and then the trial came down to the issue of insanity. The two were convicted of murder in August 1954, and both served 5 years. They were forbidden to have contact with one another ever again. Pauline was released in 1959 and given a new identity, Hilary Nathan. She moved to England and became a recluse. Juliet was released in 1959 and moved to Italy. She changed her name to Anne Perry and became remarkably successful as a crime writer. She sold over 20 million books. The defense claimed that the girls suffered from Folie et deux, but there was no agreement when it came down to their diagnosis.